Today is day 150 of 15 days to flatten the curve. Did you Photoshop that, or was Mike Pence prophesying 150 days ago?
That was a little bit of shopping.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. Okay. 150 days into the 15 days to flatten the curve. Here is the latest data on where the United States stands with coronavirus. All this data, except for one stat that I will update here in a moment, all of this data is as of today, August 13th. Only 3% of ER visits in America are for COVID symptoms. I've made a mistake. That number has actually just been updated again by CDC. And my estimation was, or the number I reported to you, because these aren't estimations, these are the numbers. The number I reported to you was way off. Folks, it's actually 2.1%. It's a lot lower. 2.1% of ER visits in America are for COVID-19 symptoms. Only 1.9% of active cases are hospitalized. Where did I get that number? Well, I did the complicated math of taking the 45,000 current hospitalizations that the CDC is reporting nationwide and divided it by the total number of positive cases, which is about 2.7 million right now in America. And when you divide 45,000 by 2.7 million, you come up with 1.9%. 1.9%. I was on a sports website yesterday where they were applauding the Big Ten's decision to cancel college football, noting that 5% of American COVID-19 cases are ending up in the hospital. Which, by the way, in and of itself would be an extraordinarily low number, but is way, way off that by 3.5 times. So just a bit outside. It's actually 1.9%. Only 0.14% of Americans are currently hospitalized with COVID. Now, where did I get that number? Again, taking the CDC's number of 45,000 hospitalizations for COVID as of August the 8th and doing the very complicated math of dividing it by 331 million in a calculator because I don't trust my own hands. And it comes up to 0.014% of Americans are hospitalized right now. Only 0.7% of Americans are currently a positive case for coronavirus. And again, showing my extensive mathematics skills. I took the total number of positive cases reported by Worldometer and Johns Hopkins and divided it by the current estimated population of these United States of 331 million. And what you come up with is 0.7% of Americans currently are a positive case. Let's continue with this assessment, shall we? The median age of death in America, according to CDC, is 78. 78. That's the average life expectancy in the United States. So for those of you wondering how come we're not seeing a mass influx of excess death despite the 160,000 plus coronavirus deaths, it's because COVID-19 is primarily killing those who were probably going to die at the end of their life expectancy anyway. That's why. And then there's this number. We need more tests. We're not testing enough. The United States has conducted 41 million more tests than the next closest free country, 41 million. That country, by the way, is India, which has almost 4 times the population of the United States. Almost 4 times the population of the United States, and yet we have done 41 million more tests than India has. So on day 150 of this scam, can I ask these 2 questions? How much better do these numbers have to be for real life to return? How much better? And then when is the curve finally flattened? Remember, we were going to flatten the curve to save the hospital system. We're currently only 0.014% of Americans are in the hospital with COVID symptoms. And by the way, I'm not even breaking out, are they there pregnant and tested positive for COVID? The CDC does all of that, by the way. If I actually showed you the numbers of people in the hospital with COVID and no other maladies and symptoms, you'd cut yourself. That's why I didn't show you that number. Guys, I didn't show you that. because enough people have died of COVID-19 and lockdowns already. I don't need to add to the depression numbers. But if I showed you what the actual breakdown is of people who walked into a hospital and were hospitalized, interned, testing positive for COVID with no heart disease, no pregnancy, nothing else, not a broken leg. They went in there with COVID symptoms and that's why they're hospitalized. They have nothing else on their chart other than here for COVID symptoms. If I showed you what that number was, it depressed me enough to learn it, and I'm sparing you by not showing it to you.